everybody. This is Saad for the Sad Truth. In August 2014, I wrote an article on my Psychology Today blog titled Judging Those Who Never Judge, wherein I was offering some positions regarding the pervasive notion in the West that, we should not be judging others and so on. And I find this to be a form of moral cowardice. And so what I thought I would do today is read the article in question to you with slight editing, because some of the things that I might have raised in the article in question are no longer temporally accurate. So here we go. Many people are profoundly reticent to share an opinion, take a stance, or commit the mortal faux pas of casting a judgment. Heaven forbid. Typical cliches include, "I don't mean to judge," "Who am I to judge?" and "I'm not one to judge." The refusal to judge and the ability to equivocate ad nauseum is considered admirable, as it demonstrates that you are a, quote, tolerant and, quote, progressive person open to all points of view. To judge is conflated with dogmatism and narrow-mindedness. I contend that the ethos of perpetual non-judgment is intellectually dishonest, if not outright cowardly. Casting judgments is an integral feature of what makes us human. World history is shaped both positively and negatively by people who judge. Great leaders are not proverbial fence-sitters. They judge, they opine, they challenge, they fight for their vision. Think of the most interesting person that you know. I bet that he or she is opinionated and hence judgmental. Pathologically non-judgmental people are unlikely to be charismatic conversationalists. I recently appeared in the past 2 years on several high-profile shows, including the Joe Rogan Experience and the Adam Carolla Show. Both hosts are hugely successful within their respective niches, in part because they do not shy away from passing judgments. Joe and I have had several almost 3-hour chats about countless topics, including my scientific work and its detractors, political correctness, the thought police, Islam, and other topics. One of the elements of our conversations that perhaps resonated so well with the audience, is that neither of us is tepid in sharing our strongly held opinions on a wide range of topics, as long as one can offer a compelling rationale to support his or her judgments and is willing to revise said opinion in light of new incoming information. There is nothing gauche about being judgmental in the positive sense of the term. Where does the current non-judgment zeitgeist that is so prevalent within some Western circles originate? I can think of 3 sources. 1. There are several passages in the New Testament that speak ill of judging others, including the infamous pericope adultere, in which Jesus admonishes the crowd for judging an adulteress who is about to be stoned to death. Quote, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." Or Matthew 7:1-5, "Judge not that ye be not judged, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye met, it shall be measured to you again." Of course, individuals who subscribe to these, quote, non-judgmental edicts ignore the endless other religious teachings that are inherently judgmental by definition. Second factor, the ethos of cultural and moral relativism, a form of secular religious belief among the intelligentsia that rejects the premise that we can judge the practice of, quote, the other, lest this might be construed as a form of cultural imperialism. None other than the current Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, was, quote, offended by the use of the word barbaric to describe horrid religious and cultural practices such as honor killings and female genital mutilation. This moral and cultural relativism runs deep within the Trudeau family, as his father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, a former Prime Minister of Canada, was a key architect in having Canada adopt an official multicultural policy, a central feature of which is to extend unlimited acceptance to and unconditional understanding of the practices and beliefs of incoming immigrants. Apparently it is, quote, bigoted, racist, and phobic to criticize otherwise abhorrent religious and cultural traditions. Third factor that allows this idea of not judging to pervade much of our discourse is postmodernism. It is another, quote, intellectual movement that rejects any, quote, privileged way of knowing. All is relative, except, of course, the one universal truth that all is relative. The irony somehow escapes many postmodernists. This anti science movement breeds non judgment, as all views are acceptable, all ways of knowing are valued, and all opinions are to be respected. Liberal progressives don't judge, they accept and tolerate. And that's why they are part of the castrati brigade. I just added that last sentence, it's not in the original article. In The Open Society and Its Enemies, the philosopher of science Karl Popper famously stated, and I quote here, "Unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed, and tolerance with them." End of quote. Inherent to his brilliant quote is the notion that as thinking beings we are able to cast judgment as to the difference between tolerant and intolerant ideologies. As I explained in another one of my Psychology Today articles, our ability to discriminate is an evolved perceptual and cognitive trait. To judge is a central feature of our capacity to discriminate between tolerant and intolerant ideologies, moral versus immoral prospective business partners, or trustworthy or untrustworthy prospective spouses. To navigate through the complexities of daily life is to pass judgment on innumerable stimuli, objects, ideas, beliefs, and people. Regrettably, as often happens in a language, a word can carry two meanings, one of which is positive, the other being negative. Example, pride has both connotations. In the case of, quote, judgmental, the term is now largely associated with its negative implications, while its other more neutral meaning has largely been erased from our collective lexicon. Yes, in some instances, to judge is to err. In other cases, the suspension of judgment is wrong, if not immoral. There, I've judged. Please spread the sad truth. Contribute to Patreon, to my Patreon account if you can. It takes a lot of time and effort to prepare all this content for you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.